Garamella here. Yesterday I got a ton of comments about how I became a professional street photographer, and a lot of people want to know. They're like, I'm introverted, I'm scared. How do I go out there and do it? I want to take pictures of people, but I feel weird or scared. I just don't know how to get over this fear. What do I do? Don't worry, in this video I got you covered because I'm going to give you the one mindset shift that changed everything for me. And believe it or not, I'm actually an introvert and completely scared, but I overcame that. I'm going to share with you today that one mindset shift that really changed everything and made a massive difference in my street photography career and allowed me to approach people without any hesitation. So I'm going to show you that one thing so you can take pictures of anyone you want and start street photography today. So I'm going to share my story with you, and I think you can relate to this because I was really scared. I would go out and I would walk around my neighborhood, I would walk around in the city where I live, and I would just have my camera out but never take a picture of anybody. I would take a picture of maybe like a duck or like a pigeon or maybe a building, but I really wanted to photograph people. I thought that was really cool, and I just couldn't do it. I would just get too scared, and then I would go home and just be depressed about it, and then put away my camera for a while, and then a week or two would go by and I would go out there and the same thing would happen. This kept repeating itself over and over. So at the time, this started spilling over into all of my life. I was just very passive, was scared to go out there, wasn't meeting many new people, and as a whole, my life wasn't really improving. And then something happened that totally shifted everything. So this one mind shift not only changed my street photography, but it kind of changed my entire life. And at the time I was studying to be a teacher. I was getting my master's in education, and I was going to teach English as a second language. And I was going to graduate mid-year, but in order to get a job, they only hired the beginning of the year. So if I wanted to get a job, I had to go at the end of that calendar school year. So instead of making a resume, I made a big folder and I got it ready. I had a cover letter, resume, student work, all this stuff in it. And I went to 2 schools in 2 days. And I talked to one of my friends in the master's program who had already got hired for a job. And he asked me, he said, hey, how'd it go, Brett? And I told him it went pretty good. I went to 2 schools. And as soon as I said that, I could hear his voice of disapproval. He's like, Brett, you could do a lot better than that. You need to go to at least 7 or 8 schools. So he kind of pumped me up. He gave me the speech. The next day, instead of being about going to 1 or 2 schools, I decided to go to as many schools as I can. Forget about researching, forget about doing all this stuff. Just go out there and go to all these schools. So I did that, and I ended up going to 12 different schools. I got 2 job offers, and I got hired, and my financial situation and my future basically changed. And at the time, I was trying to do street photography, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, this worked with the schools, let me try to use this for street photography as well. So my goal was to approach as many people as I could, and don't worry whether they said yes or no. So it wasn't about the result, it was just about the action taken. So in my mind, I made this up and I told myself, look, Brett, you need to get 5 rejections today. If you get 5 rejections today, you're gonna get a reward. So for me, I love food, so I gave myself a reward of a nice dinner. So I started simple. I went to a basketball court and I approached 5 people because I like basketball and it's easy for me to approach them. So try to find an activity, an area, or someone who you have a common interest, because that will help you approach them. Then after basketball, I just went to the streets and I did the same thing. And I told my friend, Rigoberto, and he was so happy, he was so pumped up for me. And then I just kept doing it every day. Like, how many rejections can I get? And believe it or not, when I had that mindset, I actually didn't get that many rejections. It was kind of crazy. In the beginning, obviously I did get some, but then I realized it wasn't the people who were saying no, it was really I was saying no to myself. That mindset shift of not worrying about the result and trying to get as many rejections as I could totally changed everything. Even today, I don't really get nervous, but I get, maybe I'm not really in the mood for it, so I pump myself up and I almost make it like a game. I say, Brett, how many rejections can you get today? So I hope this helps you change your mindset and just start small. Try to get 1 rejection today. And tomorrow, if you get 1 rejection, try to get 2 rejections. And try to get 3 rejections. And it's like a game. And if you don't get a rejection, if someone actually says yes and you're able to take their picture, then that's even better, obviously, because that's the whole goal, but it's not the goal for what you're doing at first. The whole goal is just to approach the person. So in order to approach the person, get that rejection. So in this video, I showed you this one mindset shift that really dramatically had an impact for me, but this is really just the tip of the iceberg of what I can show you if you're an introvert and scared of approaching people. There's so many little tricks that I've learned over the years that made a massive difference for taking pictures with people. And that's why I made a video program called Street Photographer Pro, where I teach you all my tricks like the one I shared today, but go into much greater detail step by step so that you can go from someone like me scared to death introvert to being able to approach people without any hesitation or fear. And in 2 days, I'm gonna release that course on this date. So stay tuned, you're not gonna wanna miss it. If you didn't watch the video before about my photographer journey, you can watch that over here and get out there and shoot.